No, huh?
So I gave a whole new meaning to sober as a judge.
We're going to have some fun stories here tonight,
Yes,
ladies
we
and
are.
gentlemen. All right, with us in studio, as Cash said, is attorney at law, Mr. Tony Abbatangelo, and his partner Ron will be. And thank you so much for coming in tonight to Vegas Unwrapped.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
This isn't too late for you, is it? Because I'm sure with court cases and things going on, you're probably in bed by now. We're doing something for the next day.
I wish. I got 4 kids and get up early. Beautiful wife's here with me.
Yeah. You want to introduce your wife to the audience, even though you want to talk on the air? You want to talk on the radio?
Once I start, you can't get me to stop.
Oh,
We have a free mic right in.
there you go.
Dr. Tina Brandon Abbatangelo. She just got a professorship at the great UNLV Dental School.
Wow, congratulations.
Very nice.
Nice. You're not going to hurt patients, are you?
No, my students are. No, I'm just
Oh, the students are.
I
Because
do,
dentists to me is like kryptonite to Superman. I could pass out just talking about dentists, and I'm sure that's pretty common in the industry. So, well, congratulations. That's great.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Awesome.
All right, so Tony, you're well known in this town because you were a past judge. You've done some important things, but for those outside our listening audience who may not be familiar with you, why don't you go into a little bit of history about yourself, your background, and what your practice is all about?
Well, I was born and raised here in Las Vegas.
Okay.
My parents moved out here from Pittsburgh back in 1961. My dad's a lawyer,
Okay.
and he started a practice. My mom ran the show. Nice Italian family, like my mom used to say. You can't trust anybody. You can't trust your clients. You can't trust your employees.
Right.
I said, Mom, who's that lead?
That's exactly right. Who's left?
Exactly. So my dad, always took care of everybody.
Okay.
I mean, I was shocked. One of the first clients I ever met, this was in 1990 when I passed the bar. This guy's got tattoos coming over his left eye, down his shoulder, and back then people didn't have tats. And I'm like, this guy's here for murder, rape, pillaging, who knows?
Pillaging. I love pillaging.
Pillaging.
Exactly.
I love
Is that a great
pillaging.
word?
It's one of the greatest words in the English language.
So what happens is the guy whips out a big bunch of cash, and my dad goes, "What'd you do now?" Throws out like $500, which was a decent amount of money.
Sure.
He goes, "I got a ticket coming back from Disneyland with the kids." So I've learned never judge a book by its cover.
Wow.
But my partner's here.
Yeah, say hi, Ron.
Well, hello there.
How you doing?
Better than I deserve.
Uh-oh, do you need a good lawyer?
We're looking for one.
I think I found it.
So, Ron, welcome to Vegas Unwrapped. I'm Aaron Phillips. That's Ricky Cash,
Nice to meet
your
you.
host.
Sorry, these names have been changed to protect us.
Us, yeah, exactly. Exactly. They'll never find us in real life. So tell a little bit about yourself, Ron, just a little bit of background, how you got hooked up with the law firm. Tell your story, man.
And how'd you hook up with this guy?
Well,
that's-
we grew up around the corner from each other, throwing water balloons at cars driving through the neighborhood.
Olives.
Olives.
The occasional snowball back in the old days,
No eggs?
Well, we might have.
Oh, yeah.
Only on
Take the fifth already. What kind of advice are you
the
giving?
statutes run on all that stuff.
There you go. So you're covered.
Because we're way too close to 50.
Oh, jeez.
My back feels it.
Anyway, yeah, I grew up here, born and raised here. I grew up in a medical family. Tony was the lawyer family in the neighborhood, and we all sort of migrated our way through law school, came back here. The next thing you know, you practice in law, and 20 years later, you go, wow.
Where'd the time go?
Yeah, now they're suing everybody for malpractice.
Only if you've been injured to no fault of your own.
Right.
I see you saw my desk today.
Is it true they're always messy? But it's controlled chaos, right?
Not always, but be afraid of that guy that has the really clean desk.
All right.
Where
There you go.
Where are you guys located? Where's your office?
Well, what we've done is because, like Ron said, is we have different practices. I was a judge from 93 to 2010. We've overlapped. We see each other. We help each other. Because the criminal bar is always in front of judges. So they're very civil and helpful compared to the civil lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
So we would cover each other's cases. And we finally said, why don't we just partner up? We fish out of different ponds. We do different things to a certain extent. And Ron has an office on Casino Center. I'm at 611 South 6th Street. So we're both downtown.
Very good.
Well, and I have one in
Oh, that's right.
Henderson as well on Water Street.
Gotcha.
Courthouse as well.
Yeah, visited that place a couple of times.
Conveniently by the Goldmine Tavern.
That's, yeah, Cash gets a get well card from Henderson if they don't see him every once in a while, you know. So
You know, just to pay the small, very small moving violations.
sure,
I was moving.
There's no
Very
such thing
slowly.
as Henderson.
That's right.
exactly,
Tell me about it.
exactly.
Anybody else here
Small
from
and
downtown?
minor
Yes.
don't exist.
My goodness. Tony, talk about your years as a judge. I mean, that's an experience not too many people can really have. What was that like for you, and how easy was it for you to transition into that position, and then after your term was up, transition out of it?
Well, to me, it was very difficult to transition into because I'm the youngest attorney judge ever elected in Nevada as far as we could find.
Okay.
And actually,
How old were you, if
I
you
was
don't mind me
28 years old
Wow.
in 5 days. And actually, I was dating Tina back then, but we ended up going separate ways.
That's because you became a judge, right?
Well, no, that's because she got smart, but that's
Okay.
another story.
Or he dropped the ball.
Drop the ball more importantly. And, you know, so there's guys that have known me since I'm a kid, calling me Your Honor, Judge, things like that. So it was a thing that went along with the ease of transferring back into private practice because I'm not an ego guy. So I don't care if people all rise when I walk in the courtroom or anything like that. And that's one thing Ron and I do well together is it's Ron and Tony, or Tony and Ron. It's not Mr. Abbatangelo, Mr. Colquitt. It's we treat all clients with respect. We meet with them and we talk with them. And we tell them the truth. That's it. We don't fluff it up and give them nonsense. We just cut to the chase and go from there.
Sounds like the type of practice that would attract people who are generally afraid of attorneys.
That's our goal.
Yeah, because I mean, if you ever need an attorney for whatever reason, usually the anticipation and the anxiety can be off the charts. I guess when they go in and see you guys, you make them feel really comfortable, right?
You start with the deer in the headlights look, and you have to work your way into the handshake and then the hug, and then they feel like everything's going to be okay and you're going to get your life back. That's the whole goal. And most of these people, when they come to us, have never even met an attorney, let alone sat down in their office, and all of a sudden they're sitting here looking at us, and we're talking to them about jail and all these horrible terms that they're not used to hearing every day, that we've heard every day for 20 years now.
And what we also do is tell them the truth. For example, the way we were raised in the medical family, Dr. Colquitt and my dad, is if you get arrested, possession of controlled substance, and you got a clean record, you're in your 30s or 40s, you're going to get a misdemeanor walking in the door, right, Ron? For the most part.
Hey now, don't give away the secret.
But on the other side, there's certain lawyers, the way I was raised, is listen, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to kick that DA's butt, and if you give me $5,000, I'll get you a misdemeanor.
Well, no, actually it's 10 grand, I believe.
Versus what we tell them is the truth. You want us to do a little extra work, we'll get this case dismissed. You go in by yourself, you're going to get a misdemeanor, so there's nothing to fear. And we tell them the truth.
At the end of the day, you have to be able to look at yourself and your client in the face. For us, it's in the mirror every morning when we get up before we put that tie on for the unnamed judges that we won't mention.
Vote for Diana Sullivan, she's got a re-election.
And it's just a matter of being able to look your client in the face and know that you're doing them a service. I don't want to feel like I'm doing anything for anybody ever that they can't do for themselves.
You know, I'm kind of interested in the criminal aspect of it because, there's some television shows ad nauseum, right? But the point is that how do you handle a client that you're representing that you know is guilty? And your job is to
Get them off.
get them off.
Don't ask.
Don't ask, don't tell, right?
Growing up in the legal profession, one of my dad's favorite stories was he's at North Las Vegas night court, and the judge he's standing up and arguing. And
That's
the
how
judge
old
is,
it is he had night court.
and the judge is looking at him, and he starts smiling. Then he keeps smiling. Then he starts laughing at my dad. So finally he looks around. He sees me. I'm like 5 years old because my dad's been standing up. I'm pushing a chair up for him to sit down. So we grew up in that area, and it's just like, hey, look, here's what's going on. And if the facts are against us, we focus on certain other issues, such as clean record, good person who made a mistake, like all of us do, and let's get the best negotiation possible. Now, on the other side, we can't put the person on the stand knowing they're going to lie. That's against the rules of ethics.
Right.
Never. But I did learn from the master himself, which is John Moran Jr. And he taught us that when the law is on your side, argue the law. When the facts are on your side, argue the facts. And when neither is on your side, just make sure you make a really good argument and have a good show, and maybe have the drums and the fife player playing behind you.
Little Jim Carrey-like from Liar Liar
Amen.
kind of thing.
Amen. And then object a lot.
And bring in the whole firm. John's awesome at that. He brings in 7 lawyers. They're all in the audience. And
Now, let me take that one step further, and then I'll stop this line of questioning.
Thank you, Your Honor. I object.
We're working on this. Now, did you ever have a client who you presumed was innocent and got them off, and then ultimately found out that they were as guilty as sin?
of course.
All the time, right?
And actually, when I was a young judge, I had a lady who adamantly denied she was guilty, or I'm sorry, not guilty of a petty larceny. And I mean, that bothered me for like a week because I found her guilty. And, you know, because I want to do what's right. And one of the best compliments I ever got as a judge was Chris Lawley, who went to Gorman with us, and Ron knows Chris, and Ron went to Clark, so we have a little battle now and then. I heard they opened up a new drive-by shooting range.
Jimmy Kimmel objects to that.
And he said, well, some of these DAs were upset because I had made a ruling against them, and they're used to getting their way. And Chris said, look, Tony's just trying to do what he thinks is right. So that's the goal. So if you're really a bad person and we get you off, you're eventually going to get caught unless you change your ways.
Right.
Well, and going back to your original question, which is how do you represent that client that you know that's guilty? It's not so much whether the client's guilty or not, because people at cocktail parties and all kinds of other places will look at us and say, how can you do what you do?
Right.
And I look at them and I say, it's not my job to get a guilty man off. It's my job to see that the system doesn't run roughshod over my client's rights, over my client, and that we hang them in a mob mentality. If the system does its job right, if the police do their job right, if the prosecutors do their job right, they're going to get a conviction. Then it becomes up to how can we argue where they are in the sentencing range, because every judge gets to have discretion. And so no matter how bad the situation is, you always need somebody on your side. And our job, just like the Bible taught, says help the prisoners, not the guilty ones, not the innocent ones. Help them all.
Very nice. We're going to come back after this with a couple of more heated questions on how to get away with the crime. Phillips and